Well, welcome back to the channel this week. Thanks ever so much for joining me. I do appreciate your company today. So straight into the action as always with my videos. We're going to be dealing with the digital camouflage on the tail sections of the great Wall Hobby 1/48 scale SU-27UB. So this will be using the Foxbot, the excellent Foxbot masks that I used in episode 5. If you're unfamiliar with this process or are new to joining the channel, thank you for joining us. But this will, if you go to episode 5, you'll get more of a background of what I'm doing. This week's episode is a quick episode. It's only 20 minutes long, and it's just going to be a case of dealing with small parts and bits and pieces that needed tidying up with the kit this week, just to get us back on track with the video being released every Thursday or Friday. So what you see me doing here is actually de-tacking the Tamiya masking tape. I'm not doing anything odd with my hands here, I promise guys. It's just a case of taking away a bit of the stickiness because I don't want to pull up any paintwork or any of my fine paintwork that I've laid down. So like episode 5, it's just a case of building up the layers with the paints. If you want to know the paint references or the shades or colours, you can go to episode 5 and they'll be highlighted in that video. So as always, it's just a case of building up a fine layer, not rushing, low pressure. I think it was 10 psi with the paint mix 2 parts thinners to 1 part paint. And it's just a case of working methodically through and covering all the area that needs to be painted as always. So just fast forwarding through the process. Because like I say, it's been heavily covered in a previous episode, but I did just want to show to you all the paint process for the tail planes. And here I am just making sure I've got a good even coverage. I don't want to sort of take the masking tape off and the masks and realise that the blue isn't a good solid deep colour. I need a good, nice, opaque coverage. So there we go, that's the blue all completed on the tail planes. I didn't want to draw the process out for you guys. I do want you to subscribe. I do want you to come back for more. So I don't want to bore you to death. So all the blue has been done on all sides of the paint, of the tails. And it's just now a case of removing the masks. Basically, just do this as carefully as you can. Take your time, don't yank away at it, and you'll be fine. I did find the Foxbot masks really, really good. They didn't pull up any paint at all, and that was with some of it being left overnight on the actual aircraft, so I can really highly recommend the Foxbot decals to you. Decals? Masks, sorry. Been a long day. So next up, it's putting the fins on the lower part of the rear of the aircraft, again using Tamiya extra thin cement. I left these out just so I could have good access to the engines for painting, just like I did the same reason for the tails. And it's just a case of using the Tamiya extra thin cement and sticking the parts to the aircraft. Don't go too wild with the paint because I didn't want to have any paint burn or the glue showing, so less is more in this case. Like I say, this episode it's going to be a bit of a mishmash of parts being painted, parts being applied. There's no real method to this. It was just a case of as I noticed it, I'd get it done. Obviously that was after I got the digital camo done. The main emphasis of this video is the digital camo, but there's various other bits to come as well. So there you saw the Mr. Hobby 308 grey, and it's just a case of applying that where it's needed on the tails, and that will be the digital camo finished for this aircraft. The reason why I'm not painting the tail tips here is because they're actually a dark grey, so there was no real need to paint that. What I had reason for the pause in the painting there is I'd noticed that my flow wasn't quite correct. So a bit of advice, guys, if you're painting away and something isn't right, don't persevere on or carry on blindly with it. Take a minute to stop, get a bit of plastic, test your paints, because there all I needed to do was just increase my PSI a little bit, and it flowed so much better, and I didn't have any heartache whilst painting this or further down the line. So if you do have any issues, just stop, take a moment, figure out what's going on, and then once you've sussed it out, you can carry on. Don't rush, basically. There's no need to rush in this hobby. So there we go, very happy with the final finish there. And it's just a case of checking from all angles to make sure I've got a nice opaque covering. There's no bits of blue showing through. It's a nice solid grey. And it comes out looking splendid as always. So again, I didn't want to bore you with all the painting process. You've seen it all before. You guys know what you're doing. You're all professionals. So why? I wasn't going to bore you. Let's get straight down to the fun bit, and that is getting rid of the masking tape and the mask from Foxbot, and just seeing what the digital camo looks like underneath. This is my favourite part. I've done it. I'm sure it is the same for you. I do love peeling the mask away and having the paint job revealed underneath. Whilst on the subject of favourite part of modelling, let me know what you guys. Let me know what your favourite part is. Are you more of a builder? Do you prefer painting? Do you prefer doing decals? Which part do you prefer? Drop me a line in the comments below. It'd be nice for you to have a bit of interaction with you all. For me personally, I love decaling and I love removing the mask, as I say. Here I am actually just using an old airbrush needle. I found this was really quite perfect for getting the stubborn parts of the mask up without damaging the paint underneath. I found it a bit more effective than using a toothpick in this instance. Just a case of fast forwarding through the action as we reveal the other side of the tailplane. And I'm also double checking, I'm being careful that where my fingers are is I haven't got grey paint the other side. I didn't want to fall foul of that. Because let me tell you, there is nothing worse than getting a fingerprint in paint, because you've got to sand back and basically start again. And with this digital camo, that simply wasn't an option. So it's just a case of, again, being patient and calm and taking my time. Final few bits of touch-ups there that I'd noticed after I'd removed the mask. Nothing major though. As you can see, I'm very happy with that paint job. Everything's all where it should be. Just finalise, final checks. Make sure everything's good. Let me know what you think, guys. Would you be happy with this? I hope so. If not, let me know where I can improve. We're all friends here, I'm sure. Next up, it was dealing with the leading edge of the wings. This is a separate part on the Excellent kit, just like the flaps are on the main wings as well. So what I did here is I had a bit of a change of plan with regard to the digital camo. I basically painted the grey and the dark blue first in the areas where I knew that the camo, well there'd be a change in the camouflage, and then I applied the mask over the top. So basically the opposite to what I did with the fuselage. So then it was once I got the masks in place, it was just a case of doing the light blue over the top and then peeling away to reveal the other colours underneath. Small error on my part here, it does happen. I'm not perfect. I know, the shock, the horror, I'm not perfect. So I thought I'd just show me where my imperfections and just getting that masking bit painted correctly so that it looked accurate. Here we go, leading edge is done. Very happy again with that. So in a change of pace, in a change of subject, it was now time to get the Chaff or flare dispenser on the Stinger painted. So I masked up and painted it chrome, which is correct, and then it was a case of painting all the dispensers a darker silver. And I basically just used my super thin brush. I know the paint was for airbrush only, but it does actually work quite well on small applications, and it was just a case of working my way through without going too wonky-eyed, and just working through and painting each one of those dispensers. Here, fun fact for you, these dispensers are actually red when they're not live or when not in use. So when you see one in the air next time, if it's got, these are in red, you know it's not got the dispensers in there. When they're the dark colour, that's when they're live. So just a case of working my way through, taking my time, holding my breath a lot as well to keep a steady hand, I can tell you. I did touch up a few of the parts there. That right hand very right hand lower section I wasn't happy with. I did touch those up off air once I'd removed all the masking tape, because I just wasn't quite happy with how it looked. But everything else looked pretty good afterwards, so I was happy enough with it. There we go, they're all painted. Phew, at last. My eyes looked like that camera did just then afterwards. Let me tell you, that was a labour of love, but I'm very happy in the end with how it looked. I removed the masking tape, as we can see now, and I did the various touch-ups. Now I'm just showing you here the side fins where I'd, off air, I'd done the digital camo on those as well. Happy with how that turned out. And then it's just a case, as previously mentioned, of removing this masking tape around the stinger, around the chaff dispenser, sorry, onto the stinger. And because I love you all, I didn't want to put you through the burdens of watching me unmask all of this, so I've sped it up. If only it was this quick in real life, wouldn't life be a joy? But yeah, I thought I'd speed it up for you, for your viewing pleasure. So there we go, one set of chaff dispensers completed. And for the most part I was happy, and as I've waffled on saying, I did just touch up a couple of bits, just so you know that I'm not a complete amateur. And I also am aware that there's a few other bits around the engine, hot parts that need touching up. That is also, as now also off air, being fully dealt with. So next up, using the excellent Alclad polished aluminium, it was a case of doing some various other parts that needed to be silvered up. So that would be the parts where the flaps join the wings, the leading edge of the main wing as well, and there's a couple of rectangular areas that also needed to be painted chrome. I don't know what they are. I'm not going to profess to have a PhD in SU-27s, but they needed doing from my reference photos. So just adjusting my clamp, and it was just a case of, as always, building up the layers with the excellent Alclad aluminium. This stuff is so good. I know I rave on about it, but I really enjoy painting with this. Basically because even when I mess up, yes, it does happen, it covers up all sins and makes it look like I haven't messed up. It's excellent stuff. Always gives me a great finish, this. Very happy with it. So there we go, happy with that. And those fine details that are on the leading edge will get a pin wash just to bring out, just to make them more visible and to be accurate as well, because they do have grease and bits and pieces on it on the real aircraft. So just now painting the rectangular whatever they are. If you know what they are, ping me a comment below, let me know what that is. I don't know why it's in silver, but it is from my reference photos. So it's just a case with the same airframe aluminium going along and painting those sections. So with those sections painted, happy with that. Quick inspection to make sure that my paint job is good enough. It's just a quick process of removing the masking tape, so I'll sped this up for you again so you don't fall asleep at the screen. Not that you would, of course, watching my videos. There we go, that's those two bits done, and now it's onto the leading edge of the wings, which also has to have the airframe aluminium sprayed on it. Again, as always with Alclads, it's pretty much painting with about 15 to 20 psi as recommended on the bottle. You can't go wrong then. I'll speed this up for you. You can thank me later. Just a case of getting both the leading edges done. And the joys of the Alclad is when you put a bit of a pin wash over it, it just dulls it down a little bit. It takes that sort of new fresh look away for it as well. Just a case now of removing the masking tape. I think I need to take shares out into Mia with the amount of masking tape I use. But but I just can't risk having any overspray. There we go, a nice finish. Very happy with that. Into the corners there, so the leading edges that we showed just a little while ago getting a digital camo, they will get slotted into there, into place, and that will be in next week's episode. And with the aircraft flaps, just a case of using the clamp in the right place, and again removing the masking tape. I got bored of the clamp clearly. There we go, masking tape removed. Use any old bit of masking tape that I can, and it's just a nice smooth, a nice crisp line there, which is just what I wanted. And then in a forthcoming episode, we'll get the pin wash on that, just to grubby it up a little bit and make it look like the real thing and a bit less fresh. Happy with that? So, for the final part of this video, you've only got 3 minutes to go, guys. Thanks for hanging in there. I do love you all dearly for it and appreciate it. Next up is the metal work around the forward cannon. This is all being masked up. I am fully aware that I need to place the cannon nozzle in there. That will happen in due course. So, using extreme metals, gunmetal, funny enough, I give this a spray up and it's all masked and ready to go. I did enjoy spraying this bit. It just brings the whole kit together now. We're starting to make progress together here. I do like this stage. I know it's sort of odds and ends and bits and pieces, but it just starts to bring the whole sort of jigsaw, the bigger picture together, and I really do enjoy it. So as always, the light layer, just building it up. Now, in fairness, what I should have done here, and I did tell myself off for it, is I should have masked up and then just rubbed down the paint, the blue paints underneath, just to make sure that there wasn't any ridges. Fortunately for me, there wasn't any, so I lucked out. But lucking out isn't what we do, is it? We make prior preparation to make sure we don't mess it up, don't we, guys? Well, I didn't on this case. I do apologise, but anyhow, I lucked out and there was no ridges underneath, and it looked good. And as you can see, the excellent detail from Great Wall Hobby in this section is not to be missed. Look at that, it does look fabulous. They've done an excellent job with this in the detailing. Of course, once this is dry, I will again pin wash some certain areas of this just to bring out some of the details, because it isn't just a flat slab of silver on the actual aircraft. So that's all painted up. Time to do my favourite bit and remove the masking. So with a minute to go on this video, I'd just like to thank you all ever so much, as I do each week, but I do genuinely mean it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your views. Thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for liking, and thank you ever so much for your comments and reaching out to me. It really does mean the world to me to know that, as I say, there are people out there listening to me. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you for the positive feedback. It keeps me going. Now, the eagle-eyed of you will notice there that there's a problem just on the front of that metal area that I hadn't noticed, and I'm just about to rectify it. There it goes. A little bit of overspray, damn it, which I do sort out with a fine sanding stick. That was no great shakes. I do try to eliminate that. I don't know how that snuck in. Very annoying. Anyhow, thanks again for joining me, guys. I'm going to leave you with a view of the aircraft and where it's at right now. Let me know your thoughts and comments. I'm personally very pleased with it. Thanks ever so much for joining me this week. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. And next week, we'll be back on track Thursday or Friday with another video. So thanks again, take care, and bye.